ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak here tonight. It is an honour and a privilege to join you in celebrating the 66th anniversary of the creation of the modern State of Israel. And I offer the best wishes of the government and the people of New Zealand to your country on this occasion. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate the New Zealand government's condolences on the passing of Ariel Sharon in January this year. Ambassador, Israel and New Zealand have a long-standing relationship. New Zealand has supported Israel's right to peace and security since its establishment 66 years ago, and which has been demonstrated by our ongoing commitment to providing peacekeepers in the region. As you know, 2014 is the 60th year of our involvement. Our commitment to Israel and to regional peace is undermined by the support for a workable two-state solution for Israel and the Palestinians. New Zealand pursues a balanced, constructive and fair-minded approach to the Middle East peace process, with support for Israel's secure existence balanced by support for a viable, contiguous Palestinian state. And we were encouraged by both parties' commitment to the negotiations and hope that the courage shown by each side will continue in the coming months so that a historic peace agreement can be reached. The ambassador has referred in his speech to Israel's troubled neighbourhood. New Zealand also shares your deep concerns about the ongoing conflict in Syria and the destabilising impact it's having in the region, the problem of state support for international terrorism, and the need to remove uncertainties over the purposes of Iran's nuclear program. The re-establishment of your mission here in 2010 demonstrates the friendships between our two countries, as well as the potential that exists for building on trade and economic linkages and science and innovation collaboration. Our relationship with Israel is in very good shape, and New Zealand is looking forward to holding its second foreign ministry consultations with Israel in Jerusalem next month. Increasing connections between our peoples is very important. Young Israelis annually fill the quota allowed under the bilateral working holiday scheme, Israel's first such scheme with any country. It's heartening to see these people-to-people links flourishing, and we hope that Israelis participating in the program return home and encourage others to come here. More broadly, we're encouraged to see steady visitor numbers from Israel to New Zealand, and are proud of the fact that these visitors receive a very warm welcome and return home with many happy memories. We're delighted to be progressing negotiations on a film cooperation agreement between Israel and New Zealand. We share the ambassador's hopes that going forward we'll see such successful cooperation between our two countries in arts and culture, as well as science and innovation. The science and innovation field has been a focus for deepening our bilateral relationship in recent years. The Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, Sir Peter Gluckman, is spearheading New Zealand's efforts. He is a regular visitor to Israel. Most recently, he visited Israel in March this year. Like New Zealand, Israel is a founding member of the Small Advanced Economies Initiative. New Zealand is looking forward to participating in the next annual meeting of this forum in Israel this November. We thank Israel for its valuable contributions to the Small Advanced Economies discussions. And indeed, there's been very strong interest from here in Israel's innovative and successful business incubator model, as well as the potential for collaboration in the biotech, clean tech and agri-tech sectors. Israel has a highly successful start-up and high-tech industry as a consequence of necessity, but because it's not richly endowed with natural resources, it had no choice but to invest heavily in human resources. Through its policies, Israel has encouraged a pervasive culture of intellectual drive, urgency, valuing knowledge and entrepreneurship. As the ambassador has noted, the successful visit by Israeli high-tech companies to New Zealand in March this year will have deepened our business-to-business links. There is much work to be done to take advantages of all the opportunities in the bilateral relationship. New Zealand agencies are working to build a stronger network in both countries through which to facilitate closer and ever more productive ties. We look forward to working closely with the government and your embassy, sir, to further this important work. In recognition of our long-standing friendship, it's my privilege on behalf of the Government of New Zealand to propose a toast to His Excellency President Shimon Peres and to the people of Israel. Shalom.